Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm working on a house for a sim I started playing with recently who is a mixologist and makes her own juice. This is kind of my interpretation of a modern farmhouse, and I say interpretation because it kind of looks like one, and that's what I set out to build. All throughout this build I kind of jump around quite a lot. This build took quite a while to get to look how I wanted it to. The thing I had the biggest struggle with is the sunken living area, mostly because I had trouble getting the stairs to work, and it was also a huge struggle to get the floor plan upstairs to work. And finally I had a budget for this house, and I went drastically over, so I did scale back a lot when I got to the upstairs. It's basically empty up there. My sim earns her money from the mixologist career and also the wine, or I guess the juice that she sells to the mysterious seller in the horse ranch world. I worked on this house off and on when I got the inspiration to do so. I wanted it to look like a new construction farmhouse, but also like it could have been remodeled. I don't really have real life experience seeing these types of houses. My only knowledge is the HD TV shows that are obsessed with making these houses and the people who are desperate to live in one. I personally wouldn't want to live in one of these, especially this one that I built. It's massive, kind of. There's just a lot of space, but I think I did a pretty good job. And one of the things I wanted to include in this build was a basement, so my sim's juice could be aged to perfection. And though I tend to sell it at this stage before it's perfectly aged because I need the money quickly, since she does have this new house now, I plan on leaving the wine down there for a bit longer until it's completely and fully aged. Also, I don't think this is her forever home, but it's an upgrade from where she started from, which was a starter home in Willow Creek. She was just going to make her wine there and try to sell it here, but I decided to move her to this world for the convenience of not having to go through so many different screens and then go through a loading screen to get to the seller. And so I moved her here. She currently lives, I think it's the starter home lot in the town center neighborhood, but I do move her here before I take the screenshots. And as you can see, I did jump around a lot. There's now windows on the house. The house is painted. The porch pretty much looks how I want it to. I do leave out me decorating the porch area and doing the landscaping, because that took me forever to do. I couldn't decide on plants. I end up going into the debug menu and trying to find the plants that are in this area. I also use a lot of the cottage living plants because I feel like they are kind of cohesive and they go together. But this area specifically on the porch was kind of difficult to do because of the stairs and the platforms and not getting them to work. And here's the stairs on the inside that I also had trouble working with because I wanted them to be like right up against the wall, but when I did that, the stairs like lifted up onto like their own platform, which I didn't want because it looked weird. So I had to mess around with that a lot. So in the end, they're kind of pushed farther away from the wall, and I just make like a stone pillar there, which I think it looks really nice. Actually, it gives the room more color and stuff. And here I am trying to figure out where the basement was going. Originally I was going to have it here, but then it made the porch look weird. At least not the porch, but the balcony look weird having that jutted out with like essentially I was going to put a roof on it. So I opt to not put it there, and instead I put a chimney on this side, which realistically doesn't make any sense because there's no fireplace on this side of the house. The fireplace is literally where the front steps are on that wall. But it's Sims, so like it doesn't really matter because chimneys aren't really a thing in the game. And then for the most part I use the white floorboards. I use the white paneling. This house is basically just white. I do go and add some color later on. I change some of the walls to like a dark gray color. I make the bathrooms really colorful. Also, my Sim's favorite color is pink. So throughout this build, I try to add little pink accents everywhere. And yeah, here's the entrance to the basement that I ended up figuring out. It's just all stone in there. And then this is where I'm trying to figure out where to put a bathroom downstairs, so I realized that I didn't leave space for a bathroom. I originally was going to put it over here, but I thought the dining table was going to go over here, and I didn't want there to be a bathroom door there, so then I ended up putting it over here because this is where the sliding glass door was going to go, but it was too wide, and so then I just moved the porch to this. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't quite think about until after the fact, and this was a lot of just basically trial and error until I got the house to look kind of how I wanted it to. So there's 2 outdoor exits, or I guess 3 considering the front door, but there's 2 back exits, one on the upper part of the house and then one on the lower part where the living room is. And back here I think I show putting the fence. I don't know what I was doing right there with the camera, but I think I just show putting the fence down, and then I believe we skip forward and we start working on the kitchen, but I'm not 100% sure. We're gonna find out here, but as I said, I did do a lot of this stuff off camera. I kept most of the landscaping out. I kept the bathrooms out. I kept one of the bedrooms out because if I kept everything in, this video would have been over an hour long. So I had to decide what would be the most interesting to see and what wouldn't be interesting to see. Honestly, I wish I had filmed me furnishing one bathroom at least, because I did something really cool in the bathrooms. But here I am, just placing the fireplace down and getting the vibes for this room, because I wanted there to be like a grand, like tall fireplace, but unfortunately none of the fireplaces actually go 3 stories. It only goes to like mid-level. But here we are working on the kitchen. I used this blue color for the cabinets and the appliances from Growing Together because it gave the modern, at least the appliances anyways, gave the modern farmhouse vibes. And then I used the unlockable sink because my sim has unlocked it through her Mixologist career. And then another thing that I did, I used the tile decal from Lovestruck along with the rounded table. This was something that I didn't know if I was going to keep or not because part of me wanted to put an island here, but then I thought that it would be too crowded, so I opted to put this kitchen table here. It kind of looks a little weird, like it doesn't really fit there, but like the space looked empty otherwise, and I didn't want to put an island because I put these counters over here, which has all the extra appliances. It has a tea kettle, it has a microwave, and it has a dishwasher. And here's where I get out the tiles. I use these tiles actually in the bathroom, and I use them in a rainbow color, and I think it looks really good. I didn't expect to ever use this tile decal in the bathroom, but I needed to put something else in there, otherwise the bathrooms just looked really boring and white and bland because I used the same paint and tile that I use here in the kitchen in the bathrooms. But the bathrooms look really nice. You should be able to see them in certain shots. And this kitchen is very modern, and I was kind of experimenting with this one. But I think once I get the dining area and the living room figured out, the farmhouse part of this build really starts to come out because I used a lot of warmer tones and black iron accents that are common in farmhouses. But here I am just decorating the kitchen. I get out my staples, which is like a dish rack. The only thing I don't get out paper towels for this one. I leave the paper towels out. And also, apparently I put a pressure cooker, the rice cooker, which is also a nice appliance to have. I'm glad that they fixed the glitch that came with those appliances. They made your sims every single time they were in the kitchen your Sims would be super uncomfortable if those appliances were in there because they were always dirty. And I will never forget when I was playing with this pack for the first time from For Rent. When I was playing with it, I had my Sim in the kitchen and she was just constantly uncomfortable. So I bulldozed the kitchen piece by piece because I was like, there's got to be a dirty dish hidden somewhere. And I bulldozed it piece by piece by piece by piece. And I would go to build mode to live mode to build mode to live mode, trying to find out what was making her uncomfortable. And then I finally deleted, I think I had the kettle. For me, I don't think it was the pressure cooker. I think it was the kettle from that pack. I deleted the kettle and she suddenly felt okay. And I was like, oh, well, the kettle was just glitched out and dirty. Let me get another one. So I deleted it. And then I got a new one and she was fine for like 5 seconds and then she got uncomfortable again and I was like, it's the kettle. So I had to delete the kettle and I haven't been able to play with it since, but since they patched it, it's working fine now, which is great because it's just another appliance that you can have. I didn't use the kettle in this one though, I used just the regular teapot, but I did use the rice cooker. And here I am changing the wall color. I put this gray color and I do put that gray color around the rest of the house in certain places. Also, I've noticed that the ceiling is glitched in some of these places. In some parts of the house, there's like no ceiling, even though there is the ceiling. And then in other parts, there is the ceiling, but it has the outdoor lighting. I don't know what's up with that, but I guess that's just another thing the Sims are going to have to fix, because every single time they fix something, there's a new bug that gets added to the game. But before I did the final furnishing for this build, I actually had done a test furnishing, and I did it in the kitchen, in the dining area. I used the most expensive base game cabinets in the black swatch, and then I used the horse ranch table instead of this base game one. It was a very different vibe to what I have now. But on the dining room table, I basically had the same decorations. It was just a more flowery plant on the table. And I decided that like I wasn't vibing with it, so I just kind of left it there and I came back, and this is me doing a second recording, I think like a couple days later, of me doing the actual furnishing of the house. But we have skipped forward a little bit because looking for decorations was just a challenge. But this is going to be the first of the two bar areas in the house. This is just a small one. The basement one is much bigger. I say much bigger, but the bar is just the 2-tile one with stools at it. And those empty picture frames I have up, I'm going to put my Sim's pictures with Vlad in them, because I took some candid shots with Vlad when he visited my Sim. They were just talking and hanging out, and actually she doesn't have that much of a negative relationship with Vlad, which I'm kind of surprised. But I'm going to be skipping forward once again because, again, finding decorations for this house was difficult, and also I was on a budget, so I kind of had to pick and choose where to decorate and where not to decorate. But we're in the living area now. I had an idea for the space in front of the fireplace, but I didn't quite know what to do with the space by the back door. So I came back to it a different day and I figured it all out. It was actually a struggle because my Sim doesn't really do anything besides work on her farm, make juice, and then take care of her chickens. There is a chicken coop in the backyard along with a bunch of planters. Her chickens are named Apple, Sandy, and Cricket. The Cricket is a rooster. I just use the default names. And they also seem to hate her no matter how many times I get her to talk to them. Also, I've noticed that I can't incubate eggs in the coop. Anytime I do it, my Sim just picks the eggs out or throws them away. I don't know if it's just bugged out or if I need to not collect the eggs and clean out the coop until the egg is hatched. Which I think that would make all the egg spoil and the chickens unhappy. So like so when I want a new chicken, I just kind of have to buy one, which I think kind of defeats the whole purpose of me having chickens and having them have eggs and having them have hatchable eggs if I literally can't hatch them. But anyways, we're still working on the living space. It took me a while to figure out a sofa color. And then since cottage living, I wanted to call it country living. Since cottage living doesn't have a matching chair to the couch, I just used the 2 leather chairs from Horse Ranch. And then I used the accent table from Horse Ranch as well. I mix and match a lot of the wood tones in this house. I go for a lot of white and a lot of this worn down, like bright wood. And then I kind of, there's a guy outside revving his motorcycle and it is so loud and distracting. But I just use a lot of different wood tones and I try to make them match as best as possible, because I kind of wanted this house to not feel like all of the furniture was bought at the same time, like how you do in real life, kind of, where you go out and you buy certain pieces throughout your life and sometimes they'll match and sometimes they won't. That was kind of the vibe I was kind of going for, that she just picked out pieces of furniture randomly throughout her time and kind of threw them together and they end up matching really well. Also, something I found out about this shelf is that on the very bottom shelf, stuff doesn't float when you raise it up, but if you try to put it on that second shelf, which I just tried to do, everything floats, which was kind of annoying, but also I didn't really know what to put on the shelves anyway, so it was fine. I just ended up sticking a picture in that little space after I find out that the boxes do indeed just float there. And then I put a thing of string lights above the books on the shelf. And then something that you don't see me do is when I move my sim in, because I do eventually move her in when I go to take the screenshots, she has an axolotl and she has a frog. I put the axolotl on this bookshelf. She's got the albino one, and on the outside of the tank, the faces change on it, which I think is kind of cool. But here's the entrance to the basement. I didn't really know what to put on this wall over here, but I ended up putting a picture of the wine glass because I wanted to use that somewhere, and I thought, what a better place. There is no better place to put it than to the entrance to the bar area. I put the juice making station down here and all the juice racks because in my mind, my sim, who is named Nella, would like to own her own bar at some point in her life. Unfortunately, you can't do that in this game, so I gave her one in her basement. I put down this bar right here in the white swatch. I put down some stools along with chairs. I used them upstairs next to the other bar, so I just copied the chairs and I brought them down here. I put up some fairy lights and I put up one of the signs from Dine Out to make it seem like she had a name for her bar. The area actually turned out really cozy. It's probably my favorite room in the house. Unfortunately though, I don't have any good snapshots for this at the end of the video because I for some reason could not get my camera to go down here. I don't know what was up with that, but I couldn't get it to go down in the basement to take some nice screenshots of it. So unfortunately, this is the only look at the basement area, but I do really like it. I would love to sit down here and have a drink and hang out and chill. I was gonna put a rug down here, but I didn't like how any of the rugs particularly looked, especially sized down. They look kind of awkward. But after this, all I do is I put a sink so you can clean your glasses down here, and then I put a trash can. But we are going to be moving back upstairs here in a second. I give my sim a fish tank, and I put a table next to it, and I pretend that the spice cube and these jars from Cottage Living are fish related. The spice is the food, and then the jars have other stuff in them. I personally do not have any fish. Every single time my family has tried to have fish, they have all died, unfortunately, because we're just not fish people. And also, back when I was 6-7 years old, people didn't really know how to take care of fish that well. So, yikes. But in this game, you don't really actually need to take care of fish because they're literally just decoration. But I wanted to make it more realistic. And then I also give my sim a games table. Now, she doesn't have a lot of friends, but I'm hoping to change that here soon. I mean, Judy calls her every day about wanting to date someone or be friends with someone, so I think her and Judy are becoming friends. She was also friends with Jeffrey Landgrab, but rip to Jeffrey Landgrab, he died. Don't know how he died. Neighborhood stories must have gotten him, but he died. But I just decorate this space with plants and pictures, and you're going to see that I just use a lot of plants. I also use a lot of places to sit. There are so many places to sit in this house, your Sims would have no trouble finding a place to hang out and talk. But over here, I put a bookcase, and then I think I use the matching sofa from Horse Ranch that go with the chairs on the opposite side of the living room, and I stick it over here. I use the unlockable bookcase from, I believe it's from the Writer's Courier, because it came in almost like a matching wood tone to everything else. Again, I was trying to mix match wood tones, but also kind of make them similar enough to where they didn't look that odd. But here I am just getting out the couch. I do struggle a lot with lighting in this room. I didn't really know if I wanted to put like a second lamp or another sconce. I just ended up copying the candelabra from across the way and hanging it up over there. But we are moving outside for a second. This is where I just build an outdoor grilling area. And I don't do a good job of showing it because, again, I cut it out. But there is going to be, the chicken coop is going to be out there in the corner. I don't know if we'll get to see it or not. And then there are a lot of plant pots. All of the big box ones that I put in front of this porch area, my sim does have plants to fill them all up, but the smaller ones kind of stay empty. I'm hoping to get some more plants to put in them. Though my sim's specialty, like my sim's juice specialty is prairie grass juice. She doesn't really use her plants to make her juice. She kind of just sells them to have some money to pay bills and stuff. But I put a lot of prairie grass patches around the lot. I also get a lot of good stuff and sometimes simoleons from them. Mostly I've been finding horse poop, which is nice because it kind of has value to it. I mean, I've only been really getting the bad horse manure bags, but they're not really that helpful because they're not that expensive. But it's actually where I've been getting most of my plants from. I haven't bought a seed packet yet. My sim mostly, I think she has a lot of grapes. She has 2 cherry trees, an apple tree. She has those like weird like elderberry plants. She also has strawberries. When strawberries are in season, she was making a lot of strawberry juice. She'll finally be able to make grape juice now because it's grape season in the game. So I'm looking forward to that. But she does just specialize in prairie grass juice, which makes her a lot of money. Eventually I would like to build her a giant house on a big lot in Henford on Bagley. But moving inside now, we're working on the master bedroom. And this is where I remembered that I needed to scale back on the decorating because I needed to make sure my sim could still move in. So I tried to decorate it, but it still ends up looking pretty bare, especially the spare room on the other side. I decorate the spare bedroom like it's for guests that stay over. I imagine at some point I'm going to have my sim adopt a child. She actually was dating someone for a while, but they found her heavily unattractive, which was kind of hilarious because her partner didn't reveal it until after they had agreed to be partners. So I had her break up with them. It was one of the people from the Love Struck pack, which I didn't know at the time until I went to move him in to my household. And then I found out that they were from that pack and they found my sim heavily unattractive. So I let them date for a little bit to see if I could get the attraction level up, and it just never went up. So I had them break up. Also, I found that the Cupid's Corner app is kind of glitchy because I made my sim only want to date like adults and young adults on that app, and it sent me on a blind date with an elder. And I don't want to date elders. Like, no offense to elders, but they tend to die really quickly in this game. And so I wonder if Cupid's Corner is also bugged. I've read about a few bugs with it. That's the first one that I've encountered with it. I heard that a lot of the Cupid's Corner stuff is bugged right now. I haven't used it in a while because I'm not really focused on her dating life right now. I'm focused on her career and getting her money so she can have the life she's always wanted. But moving into the last room, this room is very bare. All I put in here is a computer, a bonsai, the decoration box, and a couple of other activities. My sim's into yoga, so I give her a yoga mat and I give her a chess table. She doesn't really play chess, but it's something else for her to do, I guess. Out on the balcony out there, I put more couches and more planter pots. But yeah, otherwise this space is very, very empty. When she does adopt a kid, I'm going to assume that I'll probably fill this space with toys and kid stuff. But this is pretty much the build. I slap a few decorations up here on the wall to at least make the space look like it's full. I add more fairy lights because I'm just obsessed with the fairy light thing. I want to decorate my own place here soon with fairy lights because it just adds a certain ambiance to the room. Oh, and this is me checking to see what kind of chairs I have in the house. I have just so many different types of chairs in this house. But I end up going with the same ones that I use at the dining table, just in a white swatch. And then I get the yoga mat out. I get a couch out. I believe I used the same couch that I used in front of the fireplace. I was originally going to use these curtains from downstairs, but I end up using the curtains from the bedroom. But like I said, this is pretty much the end of the build. If you do want to download this, I promise I will put it up on the gallery after this video goes live. I know I've been very bad about that. I say that and then I completely forget. But I will put this up on the gallery today. It will be under my ID, Lissa Marie 23. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!